Oke, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kembali lagi bersama gue Andri, Pribadi. Sekarang kita mainkan lagi Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc atau Danganronpa yang pertama. Sebenarnya ini udah ada animenya, cuma kenapa gue mainin karena gue suka banget sama Danganronpa gitu kan. Oke, kita set skillnya dulu karena ya biasanya ada kayak skill-skillnya yang bisa dipakai kalau kalian melakukan kayak apa namanya? Harusnya ada skill lainnya, kalau gua nggak punya lagi skillnya ya berarti ya udah nggak ada lagi. Ini karena gua harusnya ada kedekatan dengan karakter yang lainnya gitu loh. Jadi dapat skillnya yang lain. Cuma ini kayaknya gua nggak ada lagi ke skill yang lain. Oh ya, sebelum kita mulai trialnya atau persidangannya, kita akan coba buka open e-handbook dulu. Karena ini penting. Kamu tahu penting? Oke, truth bullet. Kita punya apa aja? Ada Monokuma file 4. Rec room door, status of Sakura's body, magazine self bloodstain, polka dot candy wrapper, glasses sharp of the floor, figure of the floor, Monokuma bottle, empty protein drink, oke. Locker handprint, sekedar untuk nge-review aja yang kemarin. Aoya count, Byakuya count, Toko count, pocket trash, yellow powder, Kyoko examination summary, Monokuma bottle experiment, magazine dying message, chem lab self, source of powder, footprint in the powder. Oke, gue sekarang pengen nge-review aja, takutnya gue ada yang lupa gitu. Karena gue gak pengen ini. Oke, kita mulai aja langsung trial ya, karena ini adalah bagian terseru dari Danganronpa gitu loh. Oke, Peace preparation. Class trial begin. Class trial keempat.
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the results.
Alright.
If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong one, then I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, where to begin?
We already know who did it.
Dang, Aoi.
Whoa, deja vu.
The one who killed Sakura
Oh, gua pakai otomatis ini aja, otomatis apa namanya, teks, jadi nggak usah diklik-klik terus.
is one of the people that hated her. Byakuya, Toko, or Hiro. It was one of you.
Idiot.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah! I'd never kill someone, no way!
I don't want to hear your stupid excuses.
Hina seems really sure that one of three is the killers, okay? But she must have some reason to believing that. Okay, let's go. Debat, kawan-kawan. Make your argument. How you count? Let's go.
It was one of you. One of you killed Sakura.
And what reason do you have for saying so?
Because you all had a motive. You hated her.
Is that it? That doesn't make any sense. That's the only reason you have her accusing us?
That's low. That's about as low as you can get.
Some correct reason why Hina suspect the three especially. I'm sure he mentioned it before.
It was one of you. One of you killed Sakura.
And what reason do you have for saying so?
Because you all had a motive. You hated
Oh,
her.
ikut. Salah. Oke. Salah. Bukan.
It was one of you.
Ini permainan kalau bisa dibanding luruskan sekedar nonton anime.
And what reason do you have for saying so?
Because you all had a motive. You hated her.
Is that it? That doesn't make any sense. That's the only reason you have her accusing us?
Yep.
No, it's wrong.
Another reason you suspect them is because Sakura wanted to meet with them, right?
Yeah, and that was right before she died. So there's no doubt about it. One of those three killed her.
I can disagree with Hina. There's good reason to suspect all three of them. Then doesn't mean one of them did it. Jadi salah satu dari mereka melakukannya. Oke, tebak lagi gila. Oke, press.
The fact that Sakura wanted to meet with all three of them, there's no way that's not suspicious. One of you is absolutely guilty.
I don't deny that she wanted to meet with us, but I never went to see her.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
Yeah, same here. I never saw her.
Let's
No,
go.
it's wrong.
Hiro,
Oh, si
when we were talking before, you dropped a small piece of paper, remember? It was white with red polka dots.
Yep.
What's that got to do with anything?
Red polka dots? That's gotta be the wrapper from the candy I gave Sakura.
Yep.
No, it's
Ever since we got into the warehouse, I totally monopolized that entire box of candy. So there's no way a single one of them was left in the warehouse.
In that case, Hiro, where did you get that piece of candy?
From Sakura! It's the only explanation.
well, I mean, yeah, sure I got it from her, but she gave it to me forever ago. It doesn't have anything to do with what happened to her.
When did she give it to you?
The last time you saw Sakura was when Hina had to go to the nurse's office, right?
Yeah, so I must have got it sometime before then.
But what Hiro said can be right. Pasti yang menggalakan itu kenapa? Because Sakura could only have gotten the candy after the incident and nurse's office. Okay. And the reason I know that when Sakura get candy, Hiro get candy for Hina. Sakura love candy too much shit. And Sakura got candy.
I got it! I'm not sure about that, Hiro. Hina didn't actually give Sakura the candy till after she left the nurse's office. So if that was the last time you saw her, there's no reason you should have had that candy.
Got it.
Damn it. I mean, what I meant was, oh, that's right! I did meet up with her in the rec room. You got a problem with that?
Why the sudden hostility?
But we just talked, that's all! I didn't do anything, you gotta believe me!
You're acting incredibly suspicious.
You're acting incredibly suspicious!
More hostile.
It's not just normal hostility! You're the real culprit! I even have proof!
Proof? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about her shining message!
What would shining message even be?
At the scene of the crime, she had written out Toko in her own blood, right? It was her dying message! Just like what you guys were talking about with Sayaka!
That's true. I saw it for myself.
See? See? Toko did it!
What are you saying? No way! I didn't do it!
You just don't know when you're beat, do ya?
Hiro, hold on. When did you see that dying message of hers?
Huh? Well, when we found Ogre's body. Duh!
But if you recall, Hina was very adamant about keeping you away from the scene of the crime. So it's hard to believe that's when you actually saw the message for yourself.
Ya, nggak mungkin yang lihat dengan mata kepala sendiri ketika si Sakura mati. Hold on, tunggu sebentar. But what Kyoko found amazing with dying message in it was under the magazine shelf, above the magazine shelf, on the magazine shelf.
I got it!
Okay.
Kyoko, you found the magazine on the magazine shelf, right?
That's right. Looking through the shelf, I found the magazine with the dying message on it. I found it right there at the scene of the crime, after we'd started the investigation.
If that's true, then what Hiro just said doesn't really make sense, does it?
Doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense? Everything I said makes perfect sense!
There's even something strange about it. Ada sesuatu yang berbeda tentang ini. Kyoko found dying message during the investigation, in which case including contradiction with Hiro told us. Oke. Oh, let's go. Gue suka musik ini. Hit up. Magazine dying message. Let's go.
I can tell you exactly when I found the dying message. When Ogre's body was discovered.
Nah.
And I can tell you when I found the dying message. It was only after the investigation had begun. I found the magazine tucked away on the magazine shelf. When I pulled it out, I saw her final words.
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
He said he saw the dying message when he first found the body. But at this time, what was the magazine?
I can tell you exactly when I found the dying message. When Ogre's body was discovered.
Aduh, ini ngalangin.
I can tell you when I found the dying message.
It was only after I found the magazine when I pulled it out.
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
Oke.
I can tell you exactly when I found the
Ya,
dying
tulisan-tulisan
message.
penting ini harus dihancurin dulu.
Ogre's body was discovered.
Oke. Lo bukan.
Shoot!
Oh, gua tahu.
I can tell you exactly when I found the
When Ogre's body was... And I can tell you when I found the dying message. It was only after the investigation had begun. I found the magazine tucked away on the magazine shelf. When I pulled it out, I saw her final words.
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
Aduh, ini bingung gua.
I can tell you exactly when I found the dying message. When Ogre's body was discovered.
Gak bisa. Gimana dong? Oke, ketika tubuh itu ditemukan. Ntar gue coba mikir dulu.
Exactly when I found the dying message. When Ogre's body
Nyawa gue
was
tinggal dikit.
discovered.
And I can tell you when I found the dying message. It was only after the investigation had begun. I found the magazine tucked away on the magazine shelf. When I pulled it out, I saw her final words.
What's your problem? What I said makes total sense.
Oke.
I can tell you exactly when I found the dying message. When Ogre's body was discovered.
Oke. Gila, bingung gua.
When Sakura's body was found, that magazine was sitting on the shelf nearby. That's where Kyoko found it.
Jadi ini adalah
After we
ketika
begun
debat
the
itu
investigation.
kalian mengambil pendapat orang untuk hancurin pendapat orang.
And you weren't at the murder scene, so there's no way you could have seen it then. Tell us the truth, Hiro. When did you see the message?
Hold on! You're focusing on the wrong part! Why does it matter when I saw it? All you gotta do is read the Vienna sausage Ogre left us, and we know who the killer is! Toko!
I don't even know where to begin with that one. He's just trying to confuse us.
Actually, can we even be sure Sakura wrote that message in the first place?
Ah, itu dia.
Yeah? I think we can all agree Ogre wrote that message. 100%, without a doubt, she wrote it. And this is me talking, so you know it's true.
Without doubt, tanpa keraguan. No, I absolutely doubt it. Gue baru melakukan it. Always forward that message, okay? Oh, ini nih debat sama si kampret ini. Ini rhythm game.
Show me the proof. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. Give it a rest. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap.
Aduh, kalah gue nih. Gue gak bisa rhythm game serius.
I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. Give it a rest. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. The end is nigh. I'm at least 30% right. The occult is bullcrap. Give it a rest. The end is nigh.
Oke, final strike. Dang, yang gue tinggal 2.
This should prove it. I'm completely unconvinced that Sakura wrote that dying message. Because if you look at it, the message was almost certainly written using a finger. But
Ya,
both of
tangannya
their
nggak
hands
berdarah.
were completely free of blood.
Say what?
Then, who did write it?
Hero could very well have written it himself. That would explain how he knew about the message in the first place.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
He admits it!
Terlalu jujur sih hero ini. Gak bagus jadi penjahat dia serius.
Why would you write something like that?
Because I killed her!
You are admitting to kill her, lu ngaku bohong dia.
Please, just let me explain what happened. I got Ogre's note, and so I headed to the rec room right before noon, just like it said.
You just did exactly as the note asked? What a fool.
And when I got there...
Sorry, but don't mind waiting. I asked a couple of other people to meet as well. Okay. Okay. Would you like a piece of candy? I'd maybe help you some energy. Oh, sure, thanks.
And that's all she said.
And that's all she said. After
just
that,
stood around
we just
in awkward silence. Suddenly, I heard her mutter something.
This is it, ini dia. I'm going to end it today. Gua akan mengakhiri hari ini. I'm going to end everything. Gua akan mengakhiri
As soon as I heard that, I just knew. I knew she was gonna try and kill me.
Dia kan ngomong.
She was gonna kill me and make her escape. So of course I freaked out, and then I saw my only chance. I grabbed the Monokuma bottle from the shelf and smashed it across her head. I hit her from behind before she had any idea what was happening. Then she just went limp. I didn't see her move again after that. Once it was over, I pulled myself together. I realized if I didn't do something, I'd be caught and executed. So I wrote Toko's name in blood across a magazine on the table and I ran away.
I can't believe you! You're the worst! I hope you die!
Well, that's what happened. Go ahead. Roast me, boil me, do whatever you want.
You're not gonna get off that easy. It's death. Death for the one that killed Sakura. We're ready to vote now, right? We know who did it.
No, I think there's more to Hiro's story.
Yep.
What are you talking about? What else could there be?
There's one thing that Hiro's story just now doesn't explain. And until we figure that part out, we can't consider the case closed.
So what is the hero did that doesn't make sense? Apa saat yang dilakukan hero dan gak masuk akal? What would you have to do after writing the message it doesn't make sense? Dan apa setelah dia menulis pesannya, apa yang gak masuk akal? Why he didn't use Sakura? Kenapa nggak menggunakan jarinya Sakura? Why the magazine was hidden? Kenapa majalah tersembunyi? Why he pick toko? Kenapa dia milih toko? Kayaknya ini deh. Well, I will be... Oke. Salah. I trying to make it. Aduh, darah gua tinggal setengah. Mati setelah ini. Bukan itu berarti what magazine hidden. Nama majalah tersembunyi.
I got it!
Okay.
That's true. Everything you just said. It doesn't explain why the magazine was hidden, does it? By the time the body was discovered, the magazine had been picked up and put on the shelf.
Yep.
Why would you take the time to write that message, then stick it somewhere we might not find it?
Oh, well, I didn't hide it. I'm sure I just left it sitting there on the table.
Padahal ada orang lain yang
Really?
He's lying! He's gotta be lying!
I don't see any reason he would lie now, after already confessing to the crime.
Then, he's not lying?
Assuming he's telling the truth, someone else must have put the magazine back on the shelf. In other words, at least one other person was in the rec room both before and after the incident.
Yep.
I don't think there's any question about that.
But then, who was it?
If they went to the trouble of hiding the magazine, they must not have liked what was written on it.
Yep. That's right, Yoko. My girl. Someone who wouldn't like that would be written. There's only one choice. Cuma satu orang doang yang bilang itu. Toko.
It had to be Toko, right? Who else would want to hide the magazine other than the person whose name was written on it?
Was he right, Toko? Did you really go to the rec room? Why would I have...
Darah gue tinggal setengah nih, tapi nggak tahu nih bisa nyampe akhir atau enggak. Akhir dari trial. Kalau nggak bisa nyampe akhir trial, tadi gue ngulang dari awal.
Did it, right? Hero just admitted it!
That's right. I killed her.
No, you didn't.
Who asked you?
I don't doubt Hiro attacked Sakura with the bottle, but that's not where this case ends.
What do you mean?
What he means is that Hiro isn't the killer.
You can't be serious! That's just... I don't believe it!
Hiro, tell us what happened one more time. If we go through it once more, it should become clear he's not Sakura's killer.
So, what do you want me to do?
Just tell us what happened one more time when you attacked Sakura.
I don't really see why, but okay.
We haven't reached the end of the case just yet. Hiro isn't the real killer. Hiro bukan killer sebenarnya. And I have to prove that one dengan itu. Oke, debat lagi. Kita kira argumen. Let's go. Yoko examination summary. That's Sakura body. Yellow powder.
I didn't want to, but I did it. I grabbed a Monokuma bottle from the shelf nearby, and I hit Ogre from behind before she could do anything.
Okay.
You hit her from behind. And you only hit her once. Is that right?
Yeah. After the first swing, the bottle shattered.
Oke, nambahin darah.
She went limp.
Nembak-nembakin yang ungu itu, teks-teks yang ungu.
Isn't it obvious? Hero really is the killer!
He will hit Sakura, that's for sure, but it doesn't end them. There's something the proof that who wants out her head. Oke. Gak usah gua tahu gua harus di mana.
I didn't want to, but I did it.
Yeah.
I grabbed a Monokuma bottle from the shelf nearby. I
Okay.
hit Ogre from behind before she could do anything.
You hit her from behind. And you only hit her once. Is that right?
Yeah, just once.
Loh, kok salah?
Shoot!
Dia cuma, tapi kan dari status itu taruh. Berarti gua salah ini.
I did it.
No.
I grabbed a Monokuma bottle from the shelf nearby.
Yoko is, oh, ya
I hit
oke.
Ogre from behind before she could do anything.
You hit her from behind. And you only hit her once. Is that right?
Oke, gua salah bullet peluru. Oke,
No, it's wrong!
salah peluru gua.
If Sakura died from Hiro's single blow, that doesn't explain why she had 2 head wounds.
Two?
That's
Yep.
right. She had 2 separate wounds on her head.
And remember, this girl examines dead bodies as a hobby. Personally, I'm inclined to believe her.
But I only hit her once. How could she have 2 wounds?
2 wounds means she was struck twice. What's more, both attacks must have come from a Monokuma bottle.
Yep.
Hold on! How can you know that just from some cuts on her head? She was attacked twice with 2 Monokuma bottles?
It's not just because of her head wounds. It's also because of the Monokuma bottles themselves. There's something very suspicious about those bottles. Once you understand that point, you'll understand why 2 separate Monokuma bottles must have been used. Think back. After the incident, there were 4 Monokuma bottles left on the shelf, right?
Yeah.
And we found pieces of a bottle on the ground, along with the chess piece it had inside.
That was the
That's
bottle
right.
Hiro hit Sakura with, right?
For now, just note that there were 4 intact bottles and 1 broken bottle. But originally, there were 6 bottles in total, meaning 1 has gone missing.
But how can you know for sure there were 6 bottles?
Karena kita melakukan
That's
eksperimen.
If you look at what the bottles all had in common, it should become clear.
The coordination between the Monokuma bottles feels like strangely unclear. Okay. The connection must be is the object Monokuma figure inside this bottle is holding. Hangman Gambits. Ini benci nih gue nih. Aduh, gagal darah gue tinggal dikit doang. Oke, kita ulang lagi. Ya, garit. Oh my god, ini teks terlalu banyak. Yes.
I refuse to give up yet!
Ya, I refuse. Oke, darah gue penuh lagi. Good. Can we hurry up? Oke. Chess apa namanya? Tadi C udah betul. Oke, C tadi betul. S lagi ya masalah ya. Oke, chest Oke, piece, chest piece. Lagi. Oke.
Now I understand. That's it! The chess pieces! Inside each bottle, there was a Monokuma figure holding a different chess piece.
King, rook, bishop, pawn. I definitely remember seeing each of those.
And the piece that was inside the broken bottle we found was... the knight, if I remember.
Ya, yang hilang queen.
So, what's that matter?
I guess you don't know too much about chess, do you? Then let me explain. In chess, there are 6 different pieces. The king, the queen, the rook, knight, bishop, and pawn. What was left intact at the crime scene were the king, rook, bishop, and pawn. Just those 4.
Ya. King ketemu, tapi yang nggak ada queen.
And on the ground was the knight.
Oh, so the queen is missing.
Yep.
So we only have evidence for 5 bottles at the scene, while one apparently went missing.
What does chess have to do with anything?
Yeah, shogi is way better.
Wait, no, that's not what I mean. So, let's say a bottle did go missing. There's still no evidence that has anything to do with this case. That bottle could have disappeared any time before the murder.
No. It's clear that the missing bottle is connected to this case.
How is it clear?
Think about what state the missing bottle must have been in. Maybe then you'll understand.
Wait, this bottle that was missing, it was broken, it was excited, it was completely intact. Excited itu apa sih? Excited? Gue gak tau. Wait, then the bottle that was missing, it was broken. Okay.
The bottle must have been broken.
What makes you so sure?
Because there was evidence at the scene that supports it.
Huh?
That's right. We found evidence that shows there was more than just one broken bottle at the scene.
And what is this evidence?
It wasn't just single broken bottle, and the evidence that proves that is Yoko and I figured out before. Yep. Yes.
I got it! Earlier, Kyoko and I did a little experiment. We compared the weight of the broken bottle pieces at the scene to one of the unbroken bottles.
Tapi kalau kalian ikut yang kemarin, kalian ngerti kenapa gua milih.
And what we found was that the collection of pieces was heavier. And the reason for that is... there was actually more than one bottle's worth of shattered glass.
Yep.
So from this, we can surmise that 2 bottles were actually broken at the scene of the crime. But someone did their best to clean up the pieces of one of the bottles, along with the figure inside. But when they did, they must have left behind a few too many pieces. Which is only natural. They certainly had no way to measure the exact right number of pieces to remove.
But why would they have to try and get rid of it like that anyway?
Because of what it would reveal about the case.
There can be no doubt that the second missing Monokuma bottle is involved in this case. Okay. must have been used by telah digunakan oleh Sakura's first attacker. Some bowling epic Sinandos, Sakura's second attacker.
The bottle that was removed from the scene was used the second time Sakura was attacked.
The second wound on Sakura's head came from that second bottle. Given all the evidence, this is the only possible conclusion.
The killer wanted to make it look like there was only one attack, so they had to get rid of their evidence.
From there, we can conclude that it wasn't Hiro who delivered that second blow. Wouldn't you agree, Toko? And there's the matter of the magazine. You must have been in the rec room when the incident took place.
Oh, wait! I admit, maybe there was a second attack, but there's no evidence I had anything to do with it.
You killed her! I'm sure of it!
Shut up! Until 2 seconds ago, you were claiming you killed her!
I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. That's just the kind of guy I am.
Tai kucing Hiro.
I just remembered something that proves it.
Okay, fine. Let's hear it.
It was right after I got Ogre's note. I was kind of nervous about it, so I went to the rec room early. You know, to stake it out or whatever. So I was waiting there, and that's when I saw her. I saw Toko go into the rec room.
You did?
Pretty soon, Ogre showed up, and she went into the rec room. I assumed Toko was still in there, so I figured everything would be okay. That's why I headed in. But when I got inside, Ogre was all alone. Toko had disappeared.
And you just now decided to share that with us?
After the shock of thinking I'd killed someone, I forgot all about it.
Could someone tighten the screws on his brain? I think they've come loose.
So, Toko, where the heck did you disappear to?
You don't know what you're talking about! I never went in the rec room!
I'm sure she didn't disappear, but maybe she found somewhere to hide.
Hiding me in the rec room? Don't be ridiculous! Whoa, why are you all ganging up on me? You're all nothing but vermin!
Yeah, think you are. No, this is not ridiculous at all. I need to prove that shelter for hiding in the rec room. And I have it. She's left there for anyone to find. A new element you add to the bullet times battle. Would you like to hear more? Okay, kita dengar. So far, you are probably pressing the left mouse button during the final strike without a second thought, okay? But for now on, you're gonna have to pay a little extra attention to your finishing blow. Now you have to choose the proper tooth bullet to use during your cup degrees, okay? You select it, and the same way during the non-stop debate, simple press Q key or nor use the okay. Also debate if you look difficult is that kinda you'll have to okay choose okay. But the education purpose, we are going to pretend you are set mean regardless just this one, okay? Oh, by the way, you are about half through the game now. Go you. Well then, good luck and have fun. Bukan tadi udah ya?
It's a lie! I admit nothing! I hate you! I curse you! No!
Oh my god, I have this!
Enough! I admit nothing! I curse you! I curse you!
Gue benci sama game-game rhythm kadang-kadang.
It's a lie! enough!
Locker room. Oke, tembak.
This should prove it.
Yes. Sekarang kita harus milih peluru di sini. Biasanya enggak gitu.
Did you know someone left a handprint behind on the inside of the locker? They must have been hiding in there and put their hand on the wall without thinking. Does this handprint look familiar, Toko?
No, it doesn't.
Okay then, let's just compare it to your hand, shall we? That'll clear everything up, right?
Stop wasting my time. Just tell us the truth.
Okay, it's my handprint.
Dang, she just straight up admitted it.
You killed Sakura! No, I swear, there's no...
Ini kayak nunjuk ke setiap... Oh, nggak perhatiin ini, langsung tunjuk dia salah. Gitu, nggak tunjuk lagi.
Straight up again.
Wait, what do you mean probably?
Give us the details, Toko. What happened between you and Sakura?
Talk. Now.
After I read Sakura's note, I decided to go there early, so I went into the rec room.
Okay.
I didn't know what she might do if I didn't go, but I was too scared to face her head on. So I figured I'd just sneak in first and hide in the locker.
Then, did you see what happened? Did you see me hit her?
Yes, and I saw you write my name. I saw you forge her dying message.
Well, that's awkward.
So after you left, I jumped out of the locker and put the magazine back on the shelf.
But when you did, you put it back upside down.
I didn't mean to. I was in a hurry.
Imbeciles, all of you.
Forget all that. Why did you attack Sakura? After I put the magazine back, I heard a sound behind me like a monster growling. And when I turned around, there was Sakura, covered in blood and staring right at me. When I saw all that blood, I fainted right there in front of the magazines. I don't remember what happened after that. If you want to know more, you'll have to ask her.
Oh, her? You mean langsung ke... Yeah. Genocide Jill.
It was your fault after all!
My fault! Master's fault! When our faults combine, they soar to even greater heights!
Just answer the question. Did you kill Sakura?
Well, to be honest, Miss Morose and me don't actually share our memories. So I can't really say what was going on. But I was just minding my own business, sleeping peacefully when someone shook me awake. Was it a prince paying me a visit? I wondered. So I opened my eyes to see... Splatter everywhere! I was not prepared for that. Well, I guess it took me by surprise. I got so startled, I smacked her with the first thing I could find, which I guess was a bottle. Sakura was just worried about you, and you're terrible! No, she's terrible! Thanks to her, I murdered someone who wasn't an adorable boy for the first time ever!
And when it was all over, you collected the pieces of the bottle to get rid of the evidence, didn't you?
I wasn't about to die for some woman! If I'm gonna go down, I want it to be for killing Master!
Just go away and die your meaningless death alone. Don't drag me into it.
But I just can't catch a break, you know? Fate's got it out for me. Because normally, Sakura should have been able to dodge my attack, no problem.
Even as strong as she is, she must have still been reeling from Hero's attack.
Hey, come on! That's... you know... But anyway, I'm not the one that killed Ogre! So that's good!
So that's good, keep talking like that. Hina's gonna ngomong seperti lagi, Hina bakalan.
That's that. Let's start the vote.
Huh? I thought for sure you'll have work for hero on that one.
What's wrong? Come on everyone, we're ready to vote, right? Let's do
Kira
this.
si Hina ini bakal tersinggung kan si Makoto.
Not quite yet.
Aha.
Not yet? Why not yet?
Don't you think there was something odd about Toko's story? I mean, you had to have noticed.
Odd? Huh?
Hiro's attack, and then Toko's, but that still wasn't the end of it. Tell us your story one more time. Tell us what happened after you fainted. Then even this gaggle of idiots should understand what I'm talking about.
Your wish is my command, darling.
Oh my god. The one who killed Sakura, salah satu orang yang bunuh Sakura adalah. Oke. Hit up, Kyoko, Sumeri, Style of Sakura Body, Yellow Powder. Oke, kita dengerin dulu. Gua nggak tahu.
I was just sleeping peacefully, and all of a sudden Sakura was right there in front of me. I remember waking up right in front of the magazine shelf.
You were taken by surprise when you saw Ogre covered in blood. And you smashed her head in with the Monokuma bottle?
You got it! I smashed her good!
And where did the attack take place?
Right where I woke up! I killed her there in front of the shelf!
Oh, jadi dipukul di depan.
I was just sleeping peacefully.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, Sakura was right there in front of me.
Ya, ini Sakura Body.
You were taken by surprise when you saw Ogre covered in blood.
Oke, ntar lu. Gua belum tahu nih
Hit with the Monokuma bottle?
You got it! I smashed her good!
And where did the attack take place?
Right where I woke up! I killed her there in front of the shelf!
Oke.
No, that's wrong.
Dia jujur. Jadi dipukulnya di depan laci
We
majalahnya.
found Sakura sitting upright in a chair.
Tapi si Sakura duduk
If
di
the blow
bangku.
by the shelf was the cause of death, there's no explanation why she was in that chair.
So, you finally noticed.
That's just another lie from a bloodthirsty serial killer!
Are you sure you didn't attack her while she was sitting in the chair?
No, I'm sure she's telling the truth. Anyone who
Yep.
saw the murder scene should think the same way.
This note has to be it. Ini pasti itu katanya. The evidence that proof there was attack in front of the magazine shelf. Ada darah di depan magazine shelf kan. Harusnya itu. Nah. Ini dia.
I got it! Sakura was definitely attacked in front of the shelf. The blood stained by the magazines is proof of that.
Then she must have moved the body after she killed her, right? All to make it look like I did it! Because when I hit her, she was sitting in the chair!
Hey, come on now, look at me! I can't carry anything heavier than my own scissors! There's no way I could move a muscle-bound heavyweight like that!
Then what's the deal?
Well, are you still convinced the case has come to an end?
But...
Plus, the biggest mystery of all, the locked room, still has yet to be explained. Until we take care of that, we can't say this case has been properly settled.
Oh, that part
Oh
too!
my god.
After she killed Sakura, Toko just hid in the locker again.
Tapi kita nggak ngeliat dia kan?
So she just hid in there till everyone showed up and opened the door?
Iya,
And while
kok
everything
nggak
was all
begitu.
confused and hectic, she just snuck out of the locker into the group.
Nggak begitu, Hiro.
No, I don't think that's possible.
The reason there's no way Toko hiding in the locker is because the locker was too small, bukan? I was in the locker. Di dalam locker enggak. I saw it for myself. The locker was too small, enggak, bukan itu. I was in the locker, bukan.
I got it!
Gua rasa ini.
Even before we open the door to the rec room,
Kadang-kadang pilihannya
Tina
enggak
and I both
bikin
gotta
bingung.
look inside. And at that point, the locker was already open.
Yep.
So obviously Toko couldn't have been hiding in there.
Okay then, where was she hiding?
I don't know! What's this whole locked room thing about anyway?
How do you not know? You killed her!
I think the fact that I don't know proves I didn't kill her! Thank you very much! You're lying!
No, she's not. I've been saying all along, there's still more to this case.
But if Genocide Jill didn't do it, that means Ogre didn't die from the shot to the head.
Yep.
And
Well, I can't imagine what else could have killed her.
that's because you're overlooking vital information.
Could we really be missing something so important? Yep. If there another possible explanation, maybe it's... Okay, make your argument. Yellow powder, Monokuma File, Aoyakon. Okay. Gua rasa Aoyakon deh.
Was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head. So you're dead set on blaming me, huh?
There's one may find. There's one place I may find clue. We have to be written in there. Apa ya?
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed
Okay.
Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot.
Okay.
No, that's wrong! According to the Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood. I think we can assume there's a chance this was related to her cause of death. In fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth.
Well, I mean, maybe when she got hit with the bottles, she cut the inside of her mouth.
If that's all it was, the file wouldn't have specified vomited blood.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth.
You even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies!
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Some sort of reaction within her body. Most likely, Sakura was poisoned.
Yep.
Poisoned?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
Si Sakura yang diracunin.
You're making me go all weak in the knees! She was poisoned? It isn't possible!
Is it really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was able to poison her.
You can explain it?
Of course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
You're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along!
You never would have, since you gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals. And that's where I found this.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle. But the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find it?
The shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C. In Section A, dietary supplements, in B, reagents, and in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
Well,
Yeah.
that's the question, isn't it?
The bottle poison back here just show us. I'm sure I know where he got it. I was on the same shelf as Superman. I'm di section A. Dia dapat botolnya. Karena botolnya itu ada di section A waktu itu ada satu yang ini kan.
I got it! The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it?
Tapi dalamnya bukan poison.
You just said that Section A was
Gue
for
yakin.
supplements or whatever.
Gue yakin karena gue udah nonton
Strange,
animenya
isn't
dan
it?
gue udah pernah main
Why
di
would there be a
BB.
bottle of poison mixed in with all those
Jadi
nutritional
kadang-kadang ada yang
factors?
lupa kan kawan.
Yeah, so? Why?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
What do you mean?
I mean this.
I couldn't believe my eyes. Gue gak bisa dengan mata kepala gue sendiri. Biar put the bottle poison over his lips and then
Master!
we were so shocked they were seeing all we could do this is stand there and watch. But as if were the most natural thing in the world, Byakuya was calm as ever. Okay.
That tastes awful.
Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the protein, of course.
Dalam bukan racun tapi protein yang diganti.
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
Kyoko took the bottle from Byakuya and scraped out the bit of the contents with one finger. Pas ngembang jidat satu, itu dengan satu jari, si touch her finger to her tongue.
It's protein powder.
Yep.
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein powder. Which makes one wonder. The poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
The bottle of poison was actually filled with protein powder. This would mean the concentrated poison must have been in. Could it be? Oke. Gue baca Hangman Gambits. Protein shake, ya. Oke. Salah. T. Loh. Oh, drink, protein drink. Sorry. Enggak. Oh, ini dulu. P berarti PO. F. PR. Nah. Protein. D, mana D? Come on, give me D. Aja. Drink. Oh my god. MM.
Now I understand.
Gue berapa kali salah karena gue pikir pencet yang mana aja bisa masuk.
Poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched. So the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can. Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison.
Holy crap!
All they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
Something at the scene, a protein drink atau pill with water, monokuma bottles, bukan.
I got it! You're saying they gave her a protein drink, right?
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains. So maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
But what was offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures.
For real? Who was it?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
If it is this show who switched them, it must be we found in front of the shelf. Yep.
I got it! The footprints left behind in front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected. What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison. The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind. And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who...
It was me.
Okay.
The footprints. They're mine.
Hina?
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
Then Ogre's killer was...
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. There was no mistaking it. And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
Sneakers, huh? There's only people who wear sneakers here. Okay. Makoto and Hina. Makoto and Leon.
I got it!
Makoto and Hina.
Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. that explains why you...
Yap. Oke, ini udah kita lihat semuanya tadi. Aduh.
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that left only one other possibility.
Just Hina.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial began. You were in an awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you? This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
I can't believe it.
What about it can't you believe?
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction. Hina used that trust to kill her. She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us. I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
Is it true? Did you really kill Sakura? And if you did, why? Why would you do that?
I found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt. She asked me to bring her that protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden.
Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought, right? That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poisoned mixture.
And then she downed it all at once. And then...
Hold it! I'm not convinced.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind.
Yeah, I
words
get it.
like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them. Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves. Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism. But there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
Are you talking about the locked room problem?
Yep.
Hina, if you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
Well... that doesn't matter! Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything?
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
And if I do?
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
I mean, why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint? It's too obvious, too easy.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
That was... I was just... nervous. So... I didn't notice I'd left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
Yeah. That's just how it was. What can I do?
Listen, Hina. Could you go into a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison and the protein.
How come? That doesn't matter.
Hina, please, I'd like to know too.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina is the culprit. There's nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it.
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab.
Well, right away I went to section C and got the poison.
And is that when you spilled the powder in front of that part of the shelf?
Yeah. When I opened the bottle, I dropped it immediate.
I see. Okay then, go on.
So then I moved to section A and got the protein powder, and that's where I switched them. Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it and left the room. But I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back on the wrong shelf. And because of that, everything I did got found out. And that's it.
That story you just told. First you went to section C to get the poison, then moved to section A to get the protein, right?
Yep. Tapi
meaning you went
di
from
section
section C to section A. Do I have that correct?
Yeah.
But if that's true, kalau itu betul katanya. Ya, cuma di section A doang jejaknya. Aha.
Can you repeat that series of events one more time?
What's wrong with you, Big Mac? You're being oddly pushy.
Big Mac.
It's the same thing no matter how many times you hear it. How long until you're satisfied?
Oh my, ini lama kelas trailer sampai 2 jam kadang-kadang. You'll figure out until you uncover the full truth of this case. Like your argument. Put in the powder. Okay.
First I went to section C. That's when I grabbed the poison.
And you spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A. And that's where I switched the powders. Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab. That's all there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
In the chance lab where the footprint and what direction where they are facing, this fact clearly contradicts what Hina just told us. Yep.
First I went to section. That's when I grabbed the.
And he spilled some of the powder on the ground.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Gua nggak tahu nih mana gua harus bidik. Ada 3 pilihan. Oke. Gue bingung harusnya gue bidik mana karena gue udah tahu ini cuma karena bingung harusnya mana gue bidik kata-katanya.
You said you went to get the poison from section C, and that's where you spilled the powder, right?
Yeah? What about it?
And after that, you said you moved from section C to section A to get the protein. But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from section C to section A.
Cuma section A doang
That
bolak-balik.
contradicts what you just said.
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose to disguise her movements?
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said?
I was just nervous, so I didn't notice I left footprint. Nah.
What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this?
Biar dia salah. Kesel ya.
Well,
You lied to us. Plain and simple. If you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to Section A. So you never went to Section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved Section A.
well, you see...
What the hell? What's going on here?
Dia salah.
And the footprints aren't
Kesel
the
dia.
only problem
He
with
is
her
mad.
account.
He is angry.
Before I
Ah,
explain
loh.
this part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
New evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Are you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
I did?
It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
Just say it already! What is it you think you found?
I found this.
A piece of
It
glasses?
had sunk to the bottom of the bottle. And the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder.
Oh,
Couldn't
potongan
have solved
kacanya
the
masuk
mystery
situ.
without you. So, thank you for that.
But, what is it?
Oh, you still don't realize? Well then. Makoto, why don't you explain it?
Huh? Me?
Fine. If you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard of glass.
The shell of light blue glass Kyoko found in the bottle of poison. I think I remember now I broke some. Ini kayaknya gue pencet ya spasinya tadi. The Monokuma bottle, the rec room window. Oh enggak, emang
part of
itu.
the window from the rec room door, right?
Yep.
Window? The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that. So I think that must be it.
You're right, it must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
What's so strange about that?
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
Where's the bottle poison have been when I broke rec room window? Okay. According to what Hina told us, Section A of the shelf, the rec room locker, Section C is a shelf. Oh, di Section A.
I got it! The bottle
Okay,
of
gua tak
poison was
salah.
left on the shelf in the chem lab. That is what you said, right, Hina? And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way into the bottle.
Everything Hina told us was a lie?
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there. That had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Wait, hold on. You're moving too fast. I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked. But how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was unlocked? We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right? If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
You're right. We do need to explain that. But before we do, there's something I'd like to confirm with everyone here.
Huh?
It has to do with the protein can. After Sakura's body was discovered, did anyone move it or trip over it or anything like that?
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your ability.
Well, no, not that I remember.
Yeah, me either.
Not me.
Same here.
Same here.
Yeah, me either.
Okay then, that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
Oh, come on! How can you say that? How can you know what I don't know?
The reason she can say is because there's evidence. Karena itu ada there's proof that someone broke the protein can the rec room after it was open. Source of the powder and the protein can lab self.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible! It had to have been in there the whole time! It had to be! It was in there before the rec room was unlocked!
When the lock room was unlocked, the other was when I broke the window, okay? If I concentrate on that...
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No. No, that's impossible! It had to have been in there the whole time! It had to be! It was in there before the rec room was unlocked!
No, that's wrong.
Let's go!
You remember how there was broken glass scattered all around the room, right?
Of course! It came from the window you broke to get in. What about it?
Well,
Gila, konsentrasi
those
banget,
pieces weren't just scattered around the
Udah
protein.
mulai susah.
We also found pieces underneath the can.
What?
And this proves it. It shows that the can must have been put down on the floor after the window was broken. So it had to be after we got into the room.
I see. So that's your explanation. Kyoko, earlier when you asked if anyone had moved the can or tripped over it...
If that were the case, that would explain the can being on top of the glass.
So you asked everyone about it to eliminate that possibility right out of the gate.
And that's made everything clear, hasn't it? As long as it was a locked room, it only contained the bottle of poison, and not the protein can. But once the room was opened up, they were switched, and as a result, the protein can wound up in the rec room, and the bottle of poison returned to the chem lab.
That's all
Gila,
true,
udah 1 jam lebih.
Why did Sakura drink the poison? I thought we all agreed she was tricked into drinking it because of the protein can.
Tapi permainan ini harus gue selesain.
No, That's not why.
Maksud gua kelas trial
The
ini.
only explanation is she drank it from its original bottle, knowing exactly what it was.
Precisely. She was alone in a locked room. All she had was the poison. What other possibility is there?
You're saying she drank it knowing what it was? Such a ridiculous action is...
Exactly what happened.
Then tell us already! Sorry. Please, tell us.
Before we get to that, we need to clarify one other thing. We need to establish who exactly got the poison from the chem lab and took it to the rec room.
It was Hina, right? She took it and gave it to Ogre.
Nope.
What do you think, Makoto?
The one who got the poison from the chem lab and brought it to the rec room. Sorry. It has to be Sakura.
I
Satu-satunya
think
dia doang yang bisa bawa
it
itu.
was Sakura herself.
Huh? So Sakura, who was apparently murdered, just poisoned herself? What are you talking about? There's no way!
On the contrary, we know for a fact she went to the chem lab, right to the section full of poisons.
You're lying! Stop lying! Why? Why would you lie like that?
No, it's not lie. Sakura definitely went to the section C. Kyoko didn't show me the evidence I need. Now I have to hit Hina with it. I have to make her accept it. Oh my god, I hate this. Debat ini lagi satu lawan satu aja nyebelin. Ini karena rhythm game kawan-kawan.
You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! I hate you! You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong!
Oh, habis burunya.
I hate
Udah
you!
banget gua ngeliatin. Pada strike.
Do you have any kind of proof Sakura took the poison?
This should prove it. Hina, did you know that Sakura's foot had a certain yellow powder stuck to it?
It did?
It did. The same yellow powder that had been spilled by the shelf in the chem lab. That powder was yellow, wasn't it?
Yep.
So the powder we found on Sakura, what else could it be but the powder from the chem lab?
Wait. So, what was that powder doing on Ogre's foot?
And it was only on her instep, right?
Sakura must have been standing right there where the powder was spilled. So the person who spilled the powder by the shelf wasn't Hina, but Sakura. And when Sakura dropped the bottle, she dropped it away from where she was actually standing. Which is how she was able to avoid getting it all over herself. But the powder still got scattered around, and some of it must have wound up on her instep. Is there any problem with my thinking?
But why did Sakura pay a visit to Section C in the first place? The only explanation is that she was looking for poison. After all, that's all that section contained.
No! It was me! The poison! Because I
No, you didn't kill her.
The one who that killed Sakura, atau orang bunuh Sakura, the connection between Sakura and the poison and the unsolved mystery of the locked room. There's only one way to explain it.
Here's my answer! The one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself.
What? The killer was Sakura?
Wait, so you're saying it was suicide?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it any more than I believe I can fly.
I can't believe it either. Or rather, I don't want to believe it. But when you really think about it, everything matches up. Sakura went and got the poison. She barricaded herself in a room, and she drank it. All so she could end her own life. And that explains why we couldn't solve the mystery of the locked room.
Because of course Sakura want to create a locked room. Monokuma forced her into the locked room. Byakuya create a locked room in secret. Nah.
I got it! The locked room mystery was created by Sakura.
I'm sure she locked herself in so nobody could stop her from doing what she did. She sat there, drank the poison, and breathed her last breath. And the empty bottle of poison rolled around the locked room until we came and opened it. At that point, someone grabbed the bottle and snuck it out of the room. And that was you, wasn't it, Hina? You did it to throw off the investigation, didn't you? When we found her body, you stayed right there near the door. Because you already knew Sakura was dead. And because the bottle of poison had rolled near the doorway.
That's when you picked up the bottle, right? I was too shocked to notice anything, and Kyoko was busy checking the body.
And the more I think about it, the more I realize how unusual your actions were.
I have to go to get them. I have to go get the others. On shaky legs, Hina left the rec room.
You said you were going to go get everyone else. But your real intention was to go to the chem lab and switch out the containers, wasn't it? Once you were at the chem lab, you headed straight to the section where the protein powder was kept. There, you took the powder and poured it into the bottle of poison you'd grabbed from the rec room. When you left the lab, all you had was the empty protein can. Thinking about it like that, the footprints make perfect sense.
When you were done, you gathered everyone together. And once you were back in the rec room,
I got everyone. Whoa, ogre! Oh, so she's dead, huh? Sakura's been killed? I see.
While everyone else was focused on Sakura, you quietly placed the can on the ground. Honestly, I should have noticed. You should have been the first one to run up to Sakura's lifeless body. The Hina I know never would have left her side in a situation like that.
So, Sakura committed suicide. In order to hide this fact, Hina undertook a series of actions to undermine the investigation. As long as you could disguise the truth, you didn't care if we blamed you for her death. That's why you didn't bother to get rid of such obvious evidence, right? The footprints in the powder and the bottle of poison, vital pieces of evidence, and yet...
So you're saying Hina consciously deceived us to make it look like she killed Sakura?
No! I killed her! I did it!
That's enough, Hina. It's over.
It's not! Nothing's over!
It is! Actually, no. You're right. We have to end this properly.
Oke. Closing agreement begin. Oh my god. Oke, kita mulai dari halaman pertama dulu berarti ya. Apa dulu nih? Ya, aku rasa ini. Oke. Enggak. Oh, ini toko. Oke. Oh, logo ya bisa diputar lagi nih ya. Yang diakui ya. X2. Betul nggak? Mana tadi? Lewat sama gua tadi. Aduh, mana? Oh, ini dia. Oke, ini gua nggak tahu bener atau enggak karena Ana suka salah ya kan. Aku mencoba sebaik mungkin untuk tidak salah di sini. Karena gua nggak kurang tahu. Oke. Dua lagi ya. Oke. Kita coba ya.
Here's exactly what happened. This case began when Sakura asked a number of people to meet her in the rec room. Specifically, those people were Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya. But one of them headed out a bit earlier than the others, Toko. She got there one step ahead of everyone else and looked around for a good hiding spot. And she found it. She crawled into the locker to get out of sight. Then, from inside the locker, she saw Sakura enter the room. Next to arrive was Hiro. When he got there, he mistakenly thought Sakura was going to try to kill him, so he panicked. Without thinking, he grabbed a nearby Monokuma bottle and attacked Sakura with it. Thinking he'd killed her, he hastily began covering up his crime. He took a magazine from the table and forged a dying message from Sakura. To that end, he wrote down a name. Toko. By writing her name, he was hoping to pin the murder on her. But of course, Toko had witnessed the whole thing. So as soon as the coast was clear, she jumped out of the locker and hid the magazine on the shelf with all the others. But in her rush, she made one little mistake. She put the magazine back upside down. Soon after, she watched as Sakura slowly opened her eyes. She also saw the blood dripping off Sakura's head and fainted. This caused her personality to switch back over to Genocide Jack. When she woke back up, her second personality also saw the blood-soaked Sakura. And she freaked out. And just like Hiro, she grabbed another Monokuma bottle and attacked her. This explains why there were 2 wounds on Sakura's head. Assuming Sakura really was dead this time, she set about disposing of the evidence. She gathered up the broken Monokuma bottle shards and the queen chess piece. And that explains how Sakura was attacked twice with the same type of weapon. But even after those 2 blows, she was still alive. So then, what was Sakura's actual cause of death? It was the poison that Sakura herself got from the chem lab. She turned the rec room into a true locked room scenario, and then drank the deadly mixture. And there, she took her final breath. Later on, the rest of us discovered that her body was in there. We had to smash the door's window to get inside. But someone already knew what had happened, knew that she had committed suicide. And that same someone quietly snatched the bottle of poison from off the ground. And while nobody was looking, replaced it with an empty protein can. They did all this specifically to place all the suspicion on themselves, in an attempt to guide the trial to a false conclusion. And the one who went to all that effort was you, Hina. That's the full truth of the case. Sakura took her own life, and you claim to be the killer to hide that fact. Isn't that right?
That's what happened? But, Makoto, how did you manage to... How were you able to uncover the truth that even I couldn't discern?
Huh? Oh, well, I mean...
You still haven't realized? We don't all act according to calculations and cost-benefit diagrams. That's what makes us so complicated. That's what you don't understand. And that's why you couldn't solve this case. See? Didn't I tell you? When you dismiss other people's feelings, it'll always come back to bite you in the end.
Yehehe. Byakuya. Byakuya. Ada AC-nya. Oke, nggak buruk lah. Walaupun nggak dapat es nggak masalah.
Okay. I think we can all agree you made your point. Did you guys forget already? You still haven't voted yet.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You seriously forgot? I can feel my energy draining out of me. Well, whatever. You don't really have a choice anyway. You just gotta do it. Maybe you don't want to, but please grab your lever and cast your vote! So, who will be chosen as the Blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be? Ha ha ha.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, the one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself. Okay, gua nggak bikin auto aja karena ini perlu gua baca.
My entire.
Okay, we're done here. Kita selesai di sini.
What did you say?
Oh, that's the whole truth. I see. Jadi seluruh kebenaran ya, begitu ya. But there's still one thing I don't understand. Satu hal lagi yang nggak boleh. Hina, why did you try to cover up what happened? Kenapa menutupi hal yang apa yang terjadi? If the truth hadn't come to the light, kalau kebenaran nggak datang ke dalam maksudnya nggak, kalau kebenaran nggak keluar nih ya, you wouldn't have died along with the rest of us. Lo kan mati bersama.
What are you thinking?
And yet you dan lagi lu, why did you do that? Nama lo apa?
Don't be mean.
Yeah, we almost died here. Kenapa mati di sini?
What is this?
Because karena that exactly what I want. Itu yang gue inginkan. Wah, apa? I mean, the reason Sakura died, alasan kenapa dia mati. It caused all you push her into the corner. Karena kalian semua memojokkan dia. Sorry. You all kill her. So that's why. Itu kalian semua membunuh dia. Itulah kenapa.
You should have been the one to die.
I couldn't let her be the only one just that die. Gue gak bisa biarkan hanya dia aja yang mati.
What?
You don't mean, lu gak bermaksud you are going to take all with you. Lu akan bawa kita semua bersama lu. We have to alone for our sins. Kita harus sendirian katanya. Gak harus sendirian katanya dalam dosa-dosa kita. Because everyone, karena semua orang, even me, bahkan aku katanya, we will all kill her. Kita semua bunuh dia. We all have to pay our crimes. Kita membayar kejahatan kita.
What?
For serious, beneran? That's itu.
What is this?
You still don't understand? Lu masih gak ngerti? That let me explain. Kalau gitu biar gue jelaskan. Do you realize just how much despair Sakura was carrying with her when she died? Lu gak tahu betapa putus asanya Sakura ketika dia akhirnya mencoba untuk mati ya. Look at this lah ini. Scrap brutality has made me a desperate. So instead of just waiting to be killed daripada dibunuh, I'll do it by my own hand. Gue lebih melakukan dengan tanganku sendiri. That's itu adalah I found on the ground, gue menemunya di lantai, in the front of the rec room, di depan rec room. It's Sakura's suicide note. Ini catatan bunuh diri Sakura. Suicide note, catatan bunuh diri. Thinking back, pikir lagi ya. I should have seen it's coming. Harusnya melihat ini dulu katanya. Apa hal ini bakal terjadi gitu. It was right after genocide Jack and had attacked me. Itu benar ketika genocide Jack kata menyerang gua. Sakura got mad, Sakura jadi marah and storm out of the nurse office, dan dia ngamuk misalnya di ruang perawatan. I I run out after her. Gue mengejar dia dan Sakura, calm down. You don't have to worry about me. Lu gak usah khawatir tentang gue. I'm fine. Gue baik-baik aja. I can't calm down. Gue bisa tenang. I don't care. Gue gak peduli. If I suffer for this, kalau gue menderita karena ini is my fault. Ini kalau salah gue. After all, bagaimanapun juga. But now you are suffering because of me. Dan lu kata sekarang menderita karena
No forgiveness.
You try to protect me. Lu coba melindungi gue. But because of me. Tapi ya karena gue.
I can't forgive this.
My close friend got hurt. Atau teman terdekat gue menjadi tersakiti. Sakura. Because of me, karena gue. My friends all going to kill each other. Dan teman gue akan saling membunuh satu sama lain. It's all my responsibility. Ini adalah tanggung jawab gue. Sakura thought she was responsible. Dia berpikir bahwa dia bertanggung jawab. She thought everyone it was her fault. Dan dia berpikir semuanya adalah salah dia. Which is why, itulah kenapa she wants to find some way to get everyone to forgive her. Dia mencari jalan di mana istilahnya semua orang bisa memaafkan dirinya. So she asked to meet with them. Dan itulah kenapa dia minta manggil mereka semua. You ask me to meet with those three. Lu meminta untuk bertemu dengan 3 orang itu. You can, lu nggak bisa. Don't you how dangerous that is? Lu nggak tahu betapa berbahayanya itu. Don't worry, jangan khawatir. I just want to talk to them. Gue coba berbicara dengan mereka.
But
Talk about what? Bicara tentang apa? Listen, dengar. Don't do it. Jangan lakukan itu. If they all gang up on you at once, even you. Berarti ketika mereka bertiga istilah bergabung atau membuat grup atau istilah untuk melawan lu katanya. Bahkan diri lu. Hina. Please don't think of things like that. Jangan berpikir hal seperti itu. They are not my enemy. Dia bukan musuh kita. Musuhku. They are friends. Mereka adalah temanku. Sakura. She's clearly believe. She's completely believe in all of us. Okay. If you just talk to her, kalau lu cuma bicara dengan dia, you'll understood. Lo bisa mengerti. She was a friend to all of us. Dia teman dari kita semua. And yet dan lagi. You template all over her feeling, and then you did the unthinkable. No, tidak. There was just a misunderstanding. Cuma salah paham. Don't stand there and call it misunderstanding. Jangan ngomong begitu dan bilang ini dalam salah paham. She believe in you. Dia percaya sama lu. And you wouldn't even listen to what she had to say. Lu nggak mendengar apa yang pengen dia katakan. Without asking a single question dan bertanya satu pertanyaan pun, you try to kill her. Lu coba untuk membunuhnya. Do you have any idea how desperate she was? Lu tahu betapa depresinya dia seeing you act like that? This was her suicide note mean. So instead of the just waiting to be killed, daripada menunggu untuk dibunuh, I'll do it by my own hand. Gua akan melakukan dengan tanganku sendiri. That's how far you push her. Itu betapa jauhnya diri menekan dirinya. Sakura, what happened to you? Apa yang terjadi dengan lu? Hina, you came. Hina, lu datang. Wait, alright here. Baiklah sini deh. I'll help you out. Gua akan nolong. Hina. Huh? I'm so glad I got meet you. Gue senang gue bisa bertemu dengan lu. What's wrong, Sakura? Ada yang salah, Sakura? Why are you talking like this? Like that. Kenapa lu bicara seperti ini? I have a favor to ask. Oke, gue punya permintaan untuk diminta. Favor, permintaan. I like some protein. Gue suka beberapa protein. Could I ask you to? Gue minta itu? Yeah, you got it. Ya, lu dapat, lu akan mendapatkannya. Just wait, hang on. Dan bertahan di sini. I'll be right back. Gue akan kembali. That was the last conversation I had with her. Itu percakapan terakhir gue dengan dia. I went to the chem lab. Gue ke chem lab to get protein. Dan protein. She asked for yang dia minta. When I got there, gue kembali sana. I saw the powder. Gue melihat powdernya. And then when I realized it, ketika gue sadar, I saw someone has taken something from the poison cell Sakura. Okay. And I ran back to the rec room and fast as I could. By the time I got there, it was already too late. Dan terlambat saya balik lagi sana. Yap. Jadi si Hina sadar bahwa ngambil racun si Sakura ini. Sakura. Let me in, biar gue masuk. Please, open the door. Tolong buka pintunya.
Why?
Why? Kenapa? Kenapa? Why did she have to die? Kenapa dia harus mati? She had weakness. Dia punya kelemahan, just like ada person seperti orang lainnya. If she got cut, kalau dia terpotong, she bleed, dia berdarah. If someone hurt her, kalau seseorang menyakiti dia, she feel it, dia akan merasakan. That's weakness, itu kelemahan. That's normal, itu normal. And yet, dan lagi,
Why?
you all blame her, lu semua menyalahkan dirinya. I try to protect her, gue mencoba melindunginya, and I suffer for it, dan gue menderita karena itu. And that's just add to the weight she had to carry, dan itu adalah beban yang harus dia terima. And I didn't even realize it, dan bahkan itu gue nggak menyadarinya. Hina, we killed her, kita membunuhnya. All of us, kita semua. We push her into the corner, kita memojokkannya, and we murder her, dan kita membunuhnya. People like us, orang-orang seperti kita, shouldn't be allowed to live, harusnya nggak boleh hidup. But that's why you try to lead us astray. Itu membuat kenapa kita semua terdampar atau membuat jadi tersesat. You did your best to make us arrive at the wrong conclusion during the class. Lu membuat diri lu menjadi istilah kita salah ke keputusan akhir dari kelas trial, dari sidang kelas. Sakura died hating all of us. Sakura mati karena membenci kita semua. I want to free her of her weakness. Gua pengen membebaskan dia dari penyesalan. But even that got found out kalau itu sampai terjadi, kata in the end, pada akhirnya I wasn't able to do anything for her. Gue akhirnya nggak bisa melakukan apa-apa untuknya. I could never face her after this. Gue nggak akan bisa menghadap dirinya setelah itu.
Hey!
I saw it into right when you are about to deliver the final tearjerker, but it's just taking so long. I'm about to fall asleep over it. I mean, do you really think you have idea what Sakura was actually thinking when she died? Aku belum tahu apa yang dia pikirin ketika dia mati.
What is this?
What did you say? Apa ngomong? Everything just said nothing but your interruption, right? Your own opinion, what her suicide not mean?
What are you saying?
Of course I know she was thinking. Gue tahu apa yang dia pikirkan. Because her and me, karena dia dan gue. Well, I'm really trying to say is, yang pengen gue katakan adalah, don't you think the entire foundation is shaky? Gak akan selalu pikir semua fondasinya telah terguncang. That if it was really like this, kalau itu benar-benar seperti ini. Oh, ternyata catatan yang aslinya lagi, bentar. Jadi kuping gue gatal sebelah kanan. Oh my god.
What the heck?
What is that? Apa itu?
Of course.
Isn't obvious, tapi udah nggak jelas. Is suicide note atau catatan bunuh diri? Sakura suicide note. Oh, yang asli. What about Hina already? But Hina already. Oh, I wrote that one. When this it was all me, baby. It's when we start on.
True.
This one Sakura addressed to Hina and put in her room. What? Then apa? Kalau gitu, you lie to me? Lu berbohong pada gue? Don't say lah, yang berkata berbohong it sounds dirty, dengan sangat kotor. I just thought it lifting up bit, cuma lebih doang dia.
Well now.
I can't help it if you totally took my latest scribbles at face value. I didn't even Sakura signature on it. Gue nggak melakukan tangan Sakura di situ. You filthy little. I'm not really filthy. I didn't do anything. Gue melakukan apa-apa. I didn't certify evidence. Did I affect outcome of the class trial? The case play out between you and you alone. Semua kasus ini bermain dengan lu dan lu sendiri. And you are the judging each other so alone, okay? Heck, even it will have factored in, I still will be between you guys. So what the problem? Jadi masalahnya, this all part of the production process, okay? And scene cut. So then what did she write in the real suicide note? Apa yang dia tulis di catatan diri yang asli?
What are you gonna do?
I'm glad ya, just namun bertanya for your benefit, untuk keuntungan lah, shall read it, gua akan bacanya using my metode gua, Angelic Harmonic Narrator.
Hey!
But you know, haven't you ever been curious about the whole suicide note thing? Who came up with the idea leaving note when you kill yourself in the first place? Okay. And isn't just unfortunate, apa yang gak disayangkan, killing yourself, bunuh diri sendiri is just so final, you know. You can never heard the rest of their story. The truth is lost in the darkness. Give me a Willis.
Enough already.
Can you get on with it, please? Bisa lanjutin, tolong.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, geez, talk about But skill, alright, here we go. My good friend Hina, untuk teman gue yang terbaik Hina, there's something I had to tell. Sesuatu yang harus gue kasih tau lu. I had to do it. Gue benci melakukan ini. I had to do it like this. Gue benci harus melakukan seperti ini. But you need to know, lo perlu tahu, this is adalah my final wish. Pengen pahit gue.
As you know, I've been giving information to the one who's imprisoned you here.
It was our first night. Inilah malam pertama kita. In this strange sekolah yang aneh ini, that's the mastermind came to see.
The mastermind took control of my family's dojo and demanded I become their tool.
You might not see the importance of the dojo. Lu nggak mungkin melihat kepentingan dari dojo ini, but my family has watched over it over 300
I couldn't
years.
let it be destroyed under my watch. So even if it meant my own life, I had to protect it. That's how I saw things.
However, that was my greatest weakness, and because of that, karena itu I made the mistake of giving in to the
what the
mastermind.
mastermind wanted from me was nothing less than murder.
They would probably worry that until the first murder had happened, nothing would move forward. But what neither the mastermind nor I expected was the incident involving Sayaka. At that point, the plan changed, dan saat itu rencananya berubah. The mastermind told me, mastermind ngasih tau gua, to hold off, untuk menahan diri, to wait, untuk menunggu until we reach another stalemate.
However, as I lived here with all of you, as I lived here with Hina, my resolve began to weaken.
Watching everyone fight with such display, trying to show this directly to stay alive, I saw the weakness in my own heart, the mistake of the succumbing to the mastermind, and more than anything,
I cannot betray those who would call me their friend.
That's how I came to feel. So that's why Sakura.
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat, no longer compromise, no longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist you.
Of course, because of that, I decided to reveal her. Ketika aku mencoba buka dirinya di reveal her secret, membuka rahasianya dirinya itu, which made everyone else hate her. Her decision to stay true to all of you lead directly to all of you hating her for it. Ironically, isn't it? Bukan begitu? Or maybe oxymoronic or just moronic?
Of course, I understand if you all hate me. All of this is because of my own weakness.
I'm perfectly willing to accept whatever attacks you, siapa menyerang lu atau may want to make
So this is my atonement for betraying you. That's what I had in mind.
But unfortunately, that's not enough. Tapi itu sayang nggak cukup. This would end with just me accepting your husband.
My own situation has started having an effect on more people than just me. Which is exactly what the mastermind wanted when they revealed my betrayal.
My betrayal brought suspicious disharmony. The mastermind knew that eventually it would escalate into someone murdering someone else.
Of course, I'm still responsible for that as well.
I have the obligation to get this situation under control. And to fulfill that obligation, I have decided to do as mastermind has commanded. I will do as I was told and commit
But I've
murder.
decided the one I'm going to kill is myself.
If the mastermind demand that I kill someone, then that someone will be me. Then my dojo will be safe, and above all else, none of you will have to kill anyone. When I die, ketika gue mati, of course I conflict among you all dies with me. For that, untuk itu I'm willing to give
If it
up
can
my
save
life.
you, then sacrificing my own life will have no greater meaning. Whatever you think of me, Please know that you are all my most treasured friends.
I never had people like you in my life.
Huh?
Then Sakura didn't feel cornered. She didn't die hating us. She want to stop us from fighting. Memang tinggal kita bertarung katanya, to protect us.
Correct.
Kita. She didn't end her own life because she was weak. Quite the opposite in fact. She was strong, too strong, terlalu kuat. That's why she killed herself. She chose death for herself in order to protect the rest of us. To sacrifice so much, the normal person could do that. I was only her limited strength that made it possible.
Finally, Hina, I want to apologize to you especially.
The reason I didn't tell you any of this because I knew you wouldn't try to stop me. I'm really truly sorry, but please don't be sad. If I can thwart the mastermind plans, if I can keep you from killing each other, that's enough for me. This is the path I have to choose. This is the only way I have left to distinguish myself. And you can use this note to bring the class trial to quick end. I'm so sorry to ask you to do something so unpleasant, but I have to leave the rest to you. Please talk to Byakuya, Toko, and Hiro on my behalf. I can't tell you anyone about my plan while I'm alive, but I want you to understand why I'm doing this. In the end, too, I hope to show myself through this action and not words. Hopefully, then they'll
I never
see.
saw you as my enemy. You were only ever my friend, who I wanted to help as much as possible. Hina, whatever it takes, survive. Survive along with everyone else. No matter what, just survive.
But...
This is... I didn't understand how she felt, not at all. Two were close and still...
What are you gonna do?
But in the end, all her meddling was likely pointless.
Oh.
She dies because you guys wouldn't try to kill each other, but you almost end up doing it anyway. Thanks to you, masih untuk lu, her death had no purpose at all. In fact, I was because of her stupidity meddling that the rest of you nearly beat the big one. She deserves all the blame. Everyone blame her. Go ahead and decide. Now then, the next victim has been decided. What do you mean next victim? Masuk korban selanjutnya. Nobody has blame anyone. Guys, ini yang sama lain. First of all, you are in the wrong tricking Hina with the fake suicide note. At first, Sakura was a risk. Huh? Because she made us remember we are not enemies that hate each other. We are finished who need to work together. Oke, kita bukan saling musuh yang saling membenci, tapi teman yang harus saling bekerja sama. That's right, betul banget. That's all because our misplaced her too. Well? I don't blame her. Gua menyalahkan dia. I can blame her, and nobody can blame Hina either. Whatever or not, the worst pay never really mastered because of the one we need to destroy. It's you, nobody else. Itu aja bukan siapapun lagi. What the heck, apa-apaan? That's not how this supposed to go. But anyway, I wish you buat that. Tapi the killing game is competition between all of you. Remember, your enemy is each other. He absolutely right about that. I love Byakuya. You understand, don't you? This is a life or death elimination match. The only way to survive is to win. Then can be no doubt these are the rules of the game. Which is why I'm bowing out the game. Kalau dia mau ngikutin permainannya. Sakura and Hina were both willing to sacrifice their own life to deny the reality of the game. Thanks to them, I would appear to others have cast aside their fear for this game. Okay, there's no point to participating in a game which has lost that sense of excitement. Which is why I will no longer be participating in it. What's going on here? Now I have only one thing to look forward to. and that is to heap and harshest possible punishment into the one who thinks they cannot control me. Ya, that doesn't mean apa ini berarti. Don't misunderstand. Jangan salah paham. I've moved by someone thoughtless sentimentalism. It isn't what you are thinking. Whatever master goes, I go, and the mastermind turn out to be a guy maybe can catch on fire. Everybody, semuanya.
Hey.
Well, now you can say that Sakura's death was no meaning. Mungkin bisa bicara tentang mata Sakura gak ada artinya, teh. How boring, bosankan ya. But nothing good can come of this. I still gonna be one having the fun time.
What the heck?
Anyway, let's forget about good nothing backstabber and get back on track.
Want me to punish you guys?
It's moment to be waiting for punishment time.
What?
Wait, but Sakura was technically the killer, right? Tapi Sakura kan bunuhnya ya kan? And since dia tadi udah mati, lo nggak akan melakukan. It's time, ini waktunya.
Wrong.
Oh, heaven no, just because Blacklight is dead doesn't mean I just slip into whatever all student I want. I didn't tell you I'm very particular about the bear time one rule.
Listen up.
But I spent so much time preparing my special punishment, I will be shame to let it go to waste. So for my special punishment, I prepare a special guest. A special
Let's
guest?
give it everything we've got. It's punishment time.
Oh no, Atrigo. Oh no. La musik itu ya, gue suka. You?
Oh no!
You such man! You turn him into the mugger hung of junk. Phew, that's really took out of me. Maybe I'll go grab a plate of chicken. After all, they said, first walk up group chickens. Where is it at? And I will about to grill goodness. Sweet boiled, give me brick. The color, the smell, the succulent, the real is where it's at. Sorry kawan, gua nggak ngertiin lagi karena capek banget gua. Udah 2 jam lebih. I realize how dangerous this could be. But still I have to do it. Okay, ini yang main. Okay. I think everyone okay. Gua nggak mau terlalu banyak baca lagi karena udah terlalu capek. Peace out for the second one. Okay. Alter ego was raised to my heart and soul, and disbelief gave way to raw anger. The anger turned to the fury, black and moody and boiling over. It bubbled up to my body, quickly overflowing and shooting out of my mouth. How dare you! That was my friend! How dare you kill him?
What's the matter?
Huh? Your friend with laptop? That's pretty pathetic. What next is friend with a basketball? Shut the hell up. He wasn't just a laptop, he was my friend. And you killed him. Is that what you call animism? Where you should dwell with the old thing, even like laptops? Well, you can call it whatever you want. Bottom line is I got in my way. I was trying to find things out of all sneaky.
Just as I thought.
So you finally noticed him.
Actually,
Finally, no. I knew about it from the very beginning. Gue tahu dia dari awal-awal. I I know Shiro was doing something with the laptop. Gue tahu Shiro was dengan laptop ya, and I knew you are using the analyze data. Okay, I know exactly how it was all gonna play all from the start. Wah,
what are you thinking?
You know, and you are still cookie enough to let us take the plot.
Yep.
Well, I mean the data in the laptop. It was, I guess you could call it gift, because kasih tahu itu adalah pemberian from me to you, dari gua kalau, or maybe like a reward in honor of you being able to unlock something so difficult.
Hey,
So of course I didn't care if you got access to that, but sneaking into the network was just too personal, so I had to do it a little, yeah, you know, reformatting.
I want to be able to help.
I want to keep being helpful to everyone. I want to work as everyone else, so that we can all get out of here. Alter egos want to fight for us. He want to help at the risk on his own life, and for that he was killed. Yeah, the punishment time has been made me feel a billion times better.
very nice.
Especially the meaningless death of soul shooting, it would make me remember that's very low can get even lower. No, his death wasn't meaningless either. Everybody who's died so far, the death of each and every one of our friends, they all make us stronger. I swear to God, someday you will pay for this. Holy moody, you are super mad, like just unreasonably upset.
Well,
Okay, time to bring to a close. Oh, but before that, I need to read the postscript.
what?
Postscript.
Yep.
Yep, there's still a bit more left. Sakura note. Ada di Sakura note. Oh, do I have to do I have your attention? Gua mendapatkan pelatihan. Okay, then here we go. Prepare your ears and the clear tones of your Julie. One other thing, Hina, there's something I like to tell you. To tell the other guys. Satu hal yang gua tahu yang lainnya. Hopefully it will add a clue, help you find unravel the mystery of this school. What clue? Itu apa?
Hina.
I spoke with the management of, and the whole time I've been here, and so I've learned one thing. Gue belajar hal, which is di mana the management done something to us, melakukan sesuatu pada diri kita. I think what they've done is, yang gue rasa dia lakukan adalah, oops, Daisy, that was close one, not the word, and will be deep in the spoiler territory. Okay, I don't wanna ruin the surprise, so book club is dismissed for today. What, can you just stop? Can just stop at the most important bit. It makes your brain rumble and rumble, huh? It makes you mad and you don't even begin to know, huh?
You guys?
That's the whole point, stupid. Is to get back at all of your hardening your resolve. Okay, fine, but at least Sakura's not. Sakura, I ever let anyone you got the crazy balls have it. Gak boleh ada yang punya teh. But tapi, that's for you, loser. Wait, what's this? What is it? Apa sekarang? There's one last thing in the note. And let me just say this to the mastermind. Gue katain kepada mastermind. I'm not going to just lay down and die. I will fight you, you bastard, no matter what. And that's seriously it. Wow, that stubborn loser, huh? She won't lay down and die. She'll fight you. Well, whatever. Who cares what some that muscle had to say? Has to say. Okay, I'm out of here. You guys should try to get some rest, you know, and maybe take some time to reconsider how you approach this school life of yours. Are you sure you don't wanna graduate? Can you really cut free from the regrets and outside world of the outside world? Good thing about that. Think long, think hard. Those were his parting words to us before disappearing. But what was that all about? Sakura finally visits the last crew that helped us solve this mystery of this school. The mastermind did something to us. Kyoko said something like that before, didn't she? It was after semester was over.
You.
What did you do? What did you do? Okay.
Hey.
Okay, ini gue capek deh baca lagi. The mastermind did something to our bodies. This was they say saying the mastermind did. What the mastermind do to us? I don't know, Makoto, but I'm tired. I mean, did the mastermind plan bomb in us or something? If we try to leave the school, a sensor goes off and the bomb explodes. I've been stuff like in the movie and comic and stuff, so it's not totally unheard of. No, I feel awful just thinking about it. I can afford knowledge too like that.
Yo!
So, the class is over and Monokuma gone. So, now what would you do? Apa yang kita lakukan sekarang?
Yes.
Setelah istilahnya itu selesai. What else is there other than to hurt back up? Kita balik lagi ya. Oh ya, okay, let's get out of here. But tapi kita must still feel responsible. They are back that ego a bit go. That can Mr. Someone like you couldn't post is absolutely not true.
Not possible.
I would never have lost on that kind of challenge. What are you talking about? Kyoko and Makoto are the one who figured everything out.
Stop talking.
Shut up, Totomoto. Seriously, I'm sorry. How many times do you plan to apologize? How about makes that the last one? I haven't reached a point where I need someone apologize to me more than once.
Sorry.
Okay, I see what you mean. Then I'll try. This certainly wasn't normal, right? That harus not normal, kan? Didn't she just capture his flag?
No, 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 no!
I can suffer the estimate of someone who would disrupt the romance between me and Master. What are you talking about? This is absolutely not what's happening here. Would you ever go to silly ball like him? Silly ball again. Silly ball.
What the heck?
That's why I call you silly ball, because you are a silly ball. Other than you still have a death wish. More big sarcasm. No wonder how you don't have any friends.
No, 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 no!
Hey, stop fighting with Master. You're making me jealous. I will abuse gokil. Give and take that and me gitu. I guess it's not easy for everyone to act like a friend. Well, that's just how it's for now. Oke, gue capek bacanya. Dadah. And so Sakura class trial came to end and we returned to the world of Hope Speaks Academy. But story wasn't even close to over. Time to keep matching out. We all went back to our rooms and before long, night snuck up on us. Ding dong, bing bong.
This is a school announcement. It is now 10. As such, soon the doors to the dining hall will be locked. Okay then. Sweet dreams, everyone.
Okay. Nighttime descend and pull me down along with it down into sleep. I couldn't remember the last time I fell into such deep sleep. But the night it wasn't over for me. A voice, suara. I could hear a voice. Gue bisa mendengarkan suara. Keep up. Wake up. Huh? The voice triggered me a deep slumber into hazy half consciousness. My eyelids were likely.
Kyoko?
Yes,
Kyoko?
it's me.
Huh? Kyoko?
I said yes.
So Kyoko's here.
Wait, what?
In the flash, I was wide awake. Langsung terbangun gua. What are you doing here? Apa lo sini? I'm here to wake you up. Gua mau sini pengen bangunkan lo. Oh, I see. Wait, but my daughter pulled pintu gua. I was unlocked. You and unbelievable careless. It was unlocked. Are you serious? Always, and you don't have overreact like that every time you are surprised. What time is it? 3 o'clock in the morning, of course. It's 3 a.m. I was Kyoko waking up in this hour. Oke, selesai kawan-kawan. Ini pasti masih ada lagi. Cuma gua nggak tahu. Aduh, gua capek banget. Gua pengen istirahat. Jadi ya, gua save dulu sini mungkin. Makasih yang nonton. Jangan lupa subscribe, kalau suka silahkan di like. Gua akan lanjutin lain waktu. Gue nggak tahu besok kita main ACM Story atau enggak, karena HP gue juga belum ada kabar sama sekali sampai sekarang. Jadi terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.
Ohayo. Konnichiwa. Konbanwa. いつ見てるか